And it's not always easy to find this thing that we call gratitude. Yeah. I don't know about you. For me, it took a long time to appreciate the practice of gratitude because it was often hard for me to feel gratitude because as a younger person, I was always caught up in what else is missing or what else is wrong. What is it that continues sort of causing dissatisfaction? And then I learned about the Buddha's teachings and how this is what we do. This is what minds do. We are constantly dissatisfied and we're constantly looking for the next thing. The truth of impermanence, largely being that cause of dissatisfaction, the suffering of change, or the belief in the lack of change, especially with suffering itself. So, how might we practice with gratitude when it's not so readily available, when it's not just below the surface, but we almost have to dig deep to unearth a sense of appreciation for things? And I think there can be a lot of pressure to, hey, be grateful for the things you have. How many of us have heard that, right? Our whole lives. And there is some truth in it, and yet it's not so easy just to snap your finger and, oh, okay, I'm grateful now. And this is why the Buddhist path has so many steps, so many stages. Now, the teachings on mindfulness that the Buddha offers us in the very first thing he says in Satipatthana Sutra, the text on mindfulness, is that sati, or mindfulness, is really all you need to take it to the end of the line, to nirvana, to awakening. And along the way, we encounter many visitors. We encounter many of the images that Rilke sort of points out in his poem, including the one who's aware. And that is essential part of it. So I think there are a couple of things. As I was reflecting on this earlier today, there was sort of a process that I've experienced that I can share with you, and yours may be similar or it may be very different, but you can try it on for size and see if it's true for you. And that is that perhaps being grateful consciously begins with a thought. Oh, I should be grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head, or I'm grateful for the new contract I got at my job, or for sustainability in my life, or whatever it may be, for my family, for my kids, for my significant other, or for my friends. Um, and here's where the practice of mindfulness can really make a difference. Because gratitude obviously is more than a thought. It has to do with touching the tender heart of recognition, touching the tenderness in the heart of our recognition, and touching it with mindfulness. So, in the same way that it may be hard to settle the mind, it may be hard to sort of settle into a place where there may still be content, there may still be thoughts, but there is also a sense of this open presence that is holding it all. And this becomes our frame of reference, not the distractions, yeah? And so the recognition, perhaps mindfulness helps us recognize, first of all, gratitude is something maybe that is its own form of cultivation. And so recognition is important. That then leads to appreciation when the heart is involved. Yeah, when the heart of the matter is involved, that tenderness, recognition, tenderness, appreciation opens the doorway to gratitude. So reflecting on sort of my trajectory with this comes with two principles that we find often in the Buddhist texts. One is interdependence. And so if we want to take gratitude not just as, oh, I'm grateful for all of these things, But I would like to practice a sense of gratitude that dives more deeply, considering the reality of interdependence means that whatever we may be feeling in life, whatever goodness there may be, whatever blessings there may be that are so easy to forget or ignore, they are there because of interdependence. Even if we've worked hard to achieve things, right? We've done things in such a way that there may be some success that comes to us, or the kind of person we are. We have lots of friends, we have lots of love. We have this shower of abundance in our lives, of love and good things. Even that, I mean, all of that, yes, who we are matters, and we are in interdependence. And so this kind of wiring, if you will, as we are wired, I think many of us at the most fundamental level to share the good heart of who we are. This is a good wiring. Yeah. That fundamentally the good heart of who we are underlies everything else. So really it's an attunement down to the subtlest layers of that tender heart where the recognition blossoms. So recognizing our interdependence with those that support us, whom we also support in kind, with those who have been good to us, have taken care of us, our benefactors, our teachers, our students, um, all a mosaic of interdependence. This here, and our interdependence with the natural world, the world in which we live, the earth, the beauty and the abundance that is still there all around us in nature, supporting us. We are of it, we are not on it. Yeah. So, interdependence, what a good reason to be grateful. And for not just the things we like about ourselves or our loved ones, but really sort of this beautiful tapestry of life that is so easy to forget when there is so much suffering. So, the second principle, ubiquitous in the teachings, is, of course, impermanence. And as much as impermanence can maybe represent loss or grief or things dying, it also represents things coming into being. It represents an arising, a coming together because of interdependence. New things come together and sprout despite the fear we have of change. And so it's good reason to be grateful. Impermanence. After all, it is the fundamental nature of all phenomena that exist in the world, in the cosmos, and beyond, to be impermanent. But, or rather, and nothing vanishes into a vacuum. There is change, ubiquitous change that also signifies opportunity, despite our fears of change. And so here we begin sort of seeing gratitude perhaps from a different lens. Yeah. It's not this kind of superficial knowledge. Yes, I should be grateful for this. There's no shoulds about it. There is an immersion in the beauty. And by shifting our perspective, we may see that interdependence and impermanence, really rooted here and now, means that this moment is precious and is good reason to be grateful. Because the next moment will be different, and maybe that moment will be equally as precious. And then that moment disperses, and a new moment arises. Then that moment will be precious. All of a sudden, we have all this abundance, and all the things that cause us suffering in real time are really quite few. They may be impactful, but how much time we ruminate on things to come or on things from the past mean that we miss the opportunity to really acknowledge, recognize, and appreciate things in the moment, such as being here with you. So mindfulness is a doorway there. Yeah, it settles the mind. And the practice that I'd like to share with you, and we actually do this every Thanksgiving, so some of you might remember this. It's a 5-step affirmations of gratitude that my dear, dear brother and friend and music partner and housemate and former student and colleague, he has so many roles in my life, Darren Becker, um, developed these 5 stages out of mindfulness teachings called the 5 affirmations of gratitude. And some of you who have joined Marty's call, Martin Lowenthal is a teacher in the Boston area, and we have Zoom calls every Wednesday evening. I've been involved there for several years, and Marty is a very good friend. Anyway, we end the evening every week with these 5 affirmations of gratitude. And so one day I realized, this is something I need. I really need to kind of be reminded to be grateful more often. And so I turned these 5 affirmations that we often recite into a meditation practice, if you will, a mindfulness practice. So I thought this would be a great weekend, regardless of what you're going to do this week. If you're going to celebrate the holiday or just keep it simple and stay home, or just maybe it's not part of where you are and in your culture and what have you. But nonetheless, I think a very auspicious practice that we can work with and be reminded of daily or at least regularly to find gratitude.